Hi, everyone. It's Amy Lettingham. I'm going to wait a few more minutes for everyone to join. And again, this is an interactive process. I would definitely love you to ask questions, put comments below. If I'm off, not live anymore, I'll still answer the questions. So please do put as much as you want. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you after the segment. So today is important. It's such an important topic. And we're going to talk about how to stop the cycle of self-shaming and give you a lot of inner peace and how you're going to, be able to just be centered again, right? Because those words that you're saying to yourself, and I don't know if you're saying this, but this is the most common thing that I see people say. And hi, Margot, nice to have you join us. Uh, is that I'm not good enough, or I'm not successful enough, or I'm not young enough, attractive enough, skinny enough. What's wrong with me, right? I promise you, you're not the only person that says that to yourself. And you don't say it out loud, but you say it through your actions, right? Through settling for something or feeling really insecure that you end up taking making a different choice rather than doing what you really want, right? Anchoring you almost. So before we start though, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Amy Lettingham. I'm a master certified relationship coach. And my goal is to help singles become conscious and date consciously so that they can find lasting love. Most of us are walking around, kind of like a zombie, like we let our beliefs, our unconscious beliefs run the show for us. So today it's about really waking you up and letting you know that you actually have options and choices. You don't have to be stuck. And we live in a culture, and why this topic is so important, why self-shaming is so bad, is that we live in a culture where bullying exists, where comparison exists, where lack of emotional coping exists. And it leads to tremendous self-shaming, so much anxiety, and it really stops us from moving forward in our life. We stop ourselves with depression. It's an epidemic. So I really want you to pay attention. I want you to take notes because these are some of the struggles I had to go through when I was younger. That's why I settled for so much less than what I deserved over and over again. And so this is a way for you to stop the cycle. And this is not about just dating. This is not just for single people. This is for everyone in life. These are tools that you can use in your day-to-day for work, friendship, family relationships. So with that said, one of the tips that I want to share with you, and I have 3 total, okay, that I use in my everyday life that help me move forward, help me stay positive. One of the parts that we're going to start with is expectations versus reality. A lot of our pain comes from expectation. It's like, where we have been influenced at a younger age by others telling us that we should believe this, or we should dress this way, or we should be this way. And you really think about it, it's a lot of the media, it's a lot of just trying to fit in, right? All of us, at the heart of things, we just want to feel included. We want to feel like we're part of something. So the minute that we feel less than is usually when we don't feel like we fit in, right? But that's like the expectation and the standard that society's put on us. But if we tear that away, whose standard really matters here? Is it really what media says? Is it what our friends says? Is it what our parents say? No, it's really what we believe in. Have we really sat down and questioned and asked ourselves, what is it that I want? What's important to me? If you catch yourself shoulding, I should do this, I should do that, then you're not really living in your own life vision. And the reality is, if you follow other people's footsteps, you become them. You become a less authentic version of you. So our goal is to separate and still know that we are still valuable, that by being authentic and real, that we are amazing, even with our flaws, even that, and knowing that all of us, even those people that you look up to that are doing amazing things, what you would label as success, they are feeling flawed too. Okay. They feel insecure sometimes. They may misstep and say the wrong thing sometimes. It's what you do with that information that creates the difference. Either you beat yourself up, you label yourself as bad, you judge yourself, or you come from a place of compassion and you say, it's okay. I'm like everyone else. This is just learning lessons for me to grow. So the reality is we are all alike. We all have insecurities. And, through the years of relationship coaching that I've done, I will be honest with you, there's not one person that hasn't told me the one phrase that is, I'm not good enough. I mean, these are people that are on the top of the world, is very successful, all the way down to a person that has a little less success. They all feel the same thing. But here's the thing, being attached to that story of what I should be and should do is what causes us pain. It's what causes us self-shaming. There is a mindfulness school, and it actually started from Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. He is a mindfulness teacher. He used to teach at UMass Medical School, and he worked with patients in hospitals and taught them mindfulness so that they can move through relieving their anxiety, depression because of their disabilities. Like maybe somebody lost a limb, or somebody was knowing that they only had a certain amount of time to live. And it was amazing with the story he told us. This is a story that I want to share with you. The attachment, if you're thinking, I'm not pretty enough, because you're comparing yourself to someone else on their standard, so you're attached to that standard. That attachment is like in India, they catch monkeys by drilling a hole in a coconut. Okay, this is a story that John told, and so the monkeys put their hand in and try to grab the banana, and the banana keeps them stuck, keeps them trapped, and literally, all they have to do in order to escape is to release the banana, and their hand will fit through that hole again, and they can leave. But they hold on so tight to the banana, and it causes them so much pain, and it keeps them stuck. So I'm asking you this question because, what is it that you're attaching yourself to that's causing you so much pain? What is the belief that's causing you so much devastation that it keeps you stuck? How can you release that banana? Right? So that leads me to the second piece here. The second piece is mindfulness. Being mindful is such a key to releasing these inner critic thoughts, these self-shaming thoughts. And you'd be shocked, but your inner critic voice comes from someone you know, for the most part, or comes from an experience. It could be either a parent, if you had an overly critical parent, a friend, an ex-boyfriend, an experience, and all of a sudden it was your first time of feeling insecure. And all of a sudden you think that moving forward, this is how I'm going to dictate my life. I'm going to use this information and I'm going to believe it to be true. The problem is that you're not challenging your thoughts. You're like on autopilot, right? Just because somebody said that you look maybe fat in that outfit, it doesn't mean that their opinion matters. There's thousands of people out there that would have different opinions. So why do we take on this opinion as truth? Well, when we're children, we don't have the ability to decipher facts from opinions, from judgments. But at the end of the day, now that we're an adult, we do have that opportunity to be mindful. So, for example, I had a client. He told me when he was in 5th grade, he wanted to date Caucasian women or just any other race outside of Asian. But there was a girl that was Caucasian that he wanted to ask her to dance. And what happened was a friend of his said, oh, you can't ask her out because Caucasian girls don't go out with Asian guys, and she's just going to reject you. So for 34 years of his life, he literally did not ask any women outside of Asian race out. Okay. He didn't ask anybody out because he was always fearful of rejection. And finally, with the work that he did on himself, he started to step outside of that. And he proved this theory wrong. He started dating outside of his race. He was dating all sorts of people. And he realized, oh my gosh, I let an 11-year-old in fifth grade dictate my standard and what is truth for me all the way till I was 34 years old. And I didn't have the ability to just question and say, well, why would I believe an 11-year-old? So are there thoughts in your mind right now that you feel that anchor you, that has been a judgment that was put on you by somebody else in your life, maybe a parent, a friend, or an experience? I want you to challenge it. And before you react and be impulsive or react emotionally, when you feel like you're insecure, I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to ask yourself, what is the belief that somebody embedded in me that I'm thinking that's true? I need to question it. I need to question my thoughts. And when you can slow down to do that, you can actually challenge that and say, is it really true? Do I know? Is this person credible enough? Have I gotten enough data that, do I see a pattern? Like if you see a pattern over and over and over again, maybe it might be true for you, right? But if it's one person's opinion, don't live your life on their opinion. Otherwise, you're going to be living their life, their values instead of your own. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Karen. Nice to have you join us. Hey, Caitlin. My underlying belief keeps me stuck that my perfect match doesn't exist. It's easy to believe sometimes. You know what? I will say I had that belief when I was single too. You know, it was really easy to say things because I'm single. I'm not going to find anyone. They're not going to exist. It's not going to happen. But again, that's your banana, right? By holding on to that belief, what trap are you getting stuck in? By letting go of it, you know, you can actually release the pain. And what is the belief that you can put in your mind and what you can say out loud that will actually help you manifest a different energy? Because what happens is when we believe that no one else exists for us, this is how we walk around, head down, body down. We show that we are not available. We show that we are not approachable. And we show that we don't want you to talk to us. So if that's true, imagine if you actually shifted your thoughts and said, there's an abundance out there. I'm going to meet my guy someday and it will happen. I just need to believe in me. I believe that I'm a good person. I'm quality. And I'm being with me right now. I'm not alone. I'm with me. I'm a successful single. And you come in with that attitude. You're smiling at people. You think that there's somebody out there that's for you. You're approachable. You're more attractive. You're more interesting. So that's how much our beliefs change our attitude, which changes the way we show up in the world and what choices we make. So be mindful and challenge your thoughts. And here's the number one thing I will say, because we were taught to self-parent, because when we were young, we weren't able to challenge those beliefs. We were taught to self-parent with a negative voice, right? Because our parents, you know, were critical sometimes with us. And so we use that to self-parent as an adult. I want you to change the conversation. I want you to change it to be the loving, compassionate parent that you want, that you've always wanted. So if that voice says, I'm not good enough, I want you to imagine this loving parent that says, you are good enough. You're an amazing person. You are perfect the way you are, even when you're flawed. All right? Okay. So tip number 3 And this is something that I think is really important because I'm a feeler. I don't know if you're a feeler type of person, but it's about giving things an expiration date. So let's say you're really upset or you're frustrated or you're angry. The number one thing I don't want you to do is avoid it. So many of these people, how do I say this in a nice way? They tell you to like just ignore it, forget about it, just be positive. Well, what you resist persists. So that is not the way to actually process your emotion. And that's when I work with clients and I'm like asking them how to feel. And they've literally numbed themselves from pain. They've numbed themselves from feeling any type of negativity. So what happens is their boundaries become very loose because they don't even know when something hurts them. We don't want that for you. We want you to have strong boundaries because the more that other people can meet your boundaries, the happier you'll be, the less you'll be taken advantage of. So feel it. It's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. It's okay to say all those things, yell in a pillow if you need to, but give it an expiration time. For me, if I'm feeling really down, okay, and I want to wallow in some sadness, and sometimes it just has to happen before I can actually get into a mindfulness state. I will say, you know what? I'm going to give myself 3 hours to just cry it out. I'm going to cry it out. I'm going to be, woe is me, feel so bad about me. And then I'm going to get over it. And I'm going to use these tools and say, okay, now let's focus on the belief that matters. What can I learn from this? How can I move forward? What can bring me towards my goal? So it's truly allowing yourself to process, accept, and have compassion for yourself, that you're allowed to feel, that you are, and not judge yourself. This is why when you do mindfulness meditation, you're paying attention to thoughts and you're not judging yourself because the thoughts are coming in. There's no judgment. There's no label of good or bad. There just is. Okay. And if you learn to process that, it'll give you the freedom so that you can see life in a very present and clear way. So I know for a fact these are tools that I use on a daily basis. I'd like for you as an action step for you to, number one, start writing down your negative thoughts. Writing down when you're really critical with yourself. And I want you to catch them. Where did they come from? Is this really true? And then move through and say, okay, if it's not true, then what is true? Focus on the things that your strengths, okay? And I'd really love to hear from you too. If you have any challenges around this, if you're constantly being the inner critic, please do come to amythedatingcoach.com and schedule a free relationship readiness review with me. And let's get into conversation, because I had a huge inner critic before, and being able to calm that inner critic allowed me to open myself to real love that I deserved. The inner critic was making me settle for the better than nothing relationships and friendships, right? In my own personal relationships with my boyfriends, and being treated less than what I deserved. And I don't want that to happen for you, because when I shifted and changed, that's when I met my husband and got exactly what I wanted. And that can happen for you too. And if you want, on my website too, when you visit, I do offer a free ebook, 5 Dating Traps That Keep You Single. So check that out. That's all about being aware and mindful, and it'll help you start getting in the right journey, in the right direction. All right. So I'm going to stop here and open for questions. If you guys have any questions, please do put it in the comment section. I'm going to read through right now. Margot says, when I think of how we challenge our thoughts, I think of the expression fear, false evidence appearing real. Yeah. It is all the things that we literally believe to be true sometimes are judgments and opinions and interpretations for the most part. So we have to like take a look. Is this really facts? Are these really facts? Is this really, you know, can I really say that this is truth for me? And every time you challenge yourself, you're going to find yourself going, oh, that's not true. I can take that belief and throw it in the trash can. Just think about it as a backpack. Every time you believe it, you put something heavy in your backpack. And every time you cancel that thought, you throw it out and you release it and it's lighter. Priya says, I've always settled in life, in relationships, in work. People said that in the past that I wasn't beautiful. That holds me back in a pursuit in a relationship. Priya, I will say this to you. I'm going to, and I know you can't see my full body view here, but I'm an Asian woman and I am not petite. Okay. And all my life, and growing up in Asian families, people always said, oh, you're getting a little fat there, you know? And this is my parents' friends, my friends' parents, like, you know, they would come up and just like pat me on the butt and say, oh, you're fat there, or you're a little chubbier than the Asian girl. All my life, I've always felt like I was a big Asian, like bigger Asian version of everyone else, and that nobody would like me. And I thought that I had to lose like 20, 30 pounds. There was a point where I was taking medication to lose weight. I remember just being so insecure about being me. And when I really stepped into understanding, those are all their values. Just because one person likes thin or these people like thin, this culture likes thin, doesn't mean that everyone in the world has that same viewpoint. And when I realized, I challenged them, like, you know what? There's someone for everyone. There's people that like really tall people. There's people that like really short people, really curvy women. Why am I trying to adhere to, yes, society's standard of beauty? Thank you, Margot. And when I was able to dissect that, I started feeling really comfortable in my own skin. My body languages wasn't hunched down. I wasn't looking down. I was really open. And I met my husband. My husband told me, and I look back at, you know, his other previous relationships. He dated all shapes and sizes. He didn't care. He liked the person. And he told me, he goes, I love that you're curvy. I love that. So Priya, the key here is to dissect that belief and realize that that's their standard. That's what they said. You're not living life for them. You're living life for you. So you are beautiful. You are wonderful and you have amazing qualities. Say that every single day to yourself in the mirror. And I promise you, the more that you set the intention to imprint that belief in your mind, you will see an attitude change. You will see a body language change, and you will see a different way people look at you. You'll be approachable. You're welcome, Priya. Any other questions, comments, shares, anything that you'd like to type in, please do. We are live on broadcast. Okay. Well, we will end today's Ask Amy with the intention of all loving ourselves and just being not alone, guys, but loving to be with ourselves. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next Mindful Meet. Bye.